goal is to make sure the ship is floating. All right. You engineer the ship. You engineer it and you design it to where it floats on the ocean. It floats on a body of water. All right. And as men of the Lord, is in these chains of darkness, is in the flesh, pursuing to act 7. When I would do good, evil is present with me. The Apostle Paul, he speaks about things holding him down within his flesh. How his flesh seeks to do the thing that's opposite of what he really wants to do. And this is true, all right? This is the nature of the flesh. All right, it tells you how in Wisdom of Solomon 9, how the earthly body weighs down the mind, okay? And that is the battle that we fight in this kingdom, all right? In this reality, all right? That battle of the flesh. And in all fairness and in all honesty, sometimes we lose those battles. But what you learn is you create a routine that keeps your spiritual ship afloat, all right? If you deviate from watching videos or reading, if you deviate from, fellowship, things that keep your spirit vibrant, things that keep your faith on point. If you deviate from the routine, then it's only a matter of time before your spiritual ship starts to sink. All right, when it comes to things that throw you off balance, things that make you feel like you've regressed in the spirit, when it comes to poor habits, all right, that basically get you out of tune and throw you off balance, all right, you create your routine that keeps you on a high vibration, all right, or it keeps your ship, quote unquote, your ship afloat. And now you can measure that if you deviate from that routine, it's only a matter of time before your spiritual ship starts to sink. Okay? So it's not so much about focusing on it's not so much about focusing on letting go of certain habits. It's not about not doing certain things. It's about sticking to a routine that keeps you from doing things. It's not about not doing certain things. It's about sticking to a routine that keeps you from doing certain things. Like I heard someone say, the action was the reward. The fact that you got up and did a morning walk, the fact that you got your run in for the day, did your cardio for the day, that you won the battle. Your body is toned up later, eventually, but you won that daily battle. It's a daily battle, man. And it's about having more good days than bad days, man. Sometimes you're going to be distracted. You're going to have distractions. Sometimes you're going to regress. And you have to know that's the nature of the battle. The nature of the war is that you lose certain battles. But it's about winning more battles than losing, and creating systems in which you win more battles than losing. Because once again, it's not about not doing certain things. It's about keeping a routine about yourself that keeps you from doing certain things. You can fill in the blank of what those certain things are. But generally, anything that takes you out of the spirit, that if you was in a hot air balloon and you had ascended above the ground, is that somebody popped your hot air balloon. And what I've learned, and what I am learning, is that a hot air balloon, which is your spirit being in the spirit, right? A hot air balloon wasn't designed to stay in the air. A hot air balloon wasn't designed to stay in the air forever. So you have to sort of regulate how high you are. Just like in a hot air balloon, sometimes you have to pull the lever down and cause you to descend a little bit. Because if you're too much in the spirit, it can exhaust you. If you're too up there, so to speak, it can exhaust you. So you have to know how to come down a little bit, The scriptures also says, be not righteous over much. lost yourself in the spirit, then you're not gonna want to your routine. Sometimes it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. The scripture says how a man who strive for the mastery is temperate in all things. Temperate means moderate or balanced. So you as an individual, you seek to find your balance within your routine that keeps you afloat. But once again, once you deviate from that routine, you can only expect your ship to sink eventually. You might stay afloat for a little while, but eventually that ship will start to sink. All right? And you have to understand that sometimes your ship is going to be a rocky voyage. You might run into a storm, right? You might run into a little iceberg or some shit, but eventually you'll go back to your path. You'll get back on path, you know. But once again, you create your routine that keeps your ship afloat, man. And you know, once you deviate from that routine, you can only expect to eventually start to sink. All right. You know, but that's pretty much the point. You know what I mean? Because the fight is to stay balanced, to stay in the spirit. All right. And the scripture says bodily exercise profiteth little, but bodily exercise keep your spirit open and it keeps your mind healthy. You know, of course, your body starts to tone up and you start to shape up and you burn fat, you lose calories, you burn calories and you lose fat, or you burn fat. That's the byproduct of it also. But also when you break that sweat, man, it's like you're cleansing out your inner sanctuary. You know, especially if you eat clean behind you, which you should be doing that. You know, got a soreness in my fucking arm. You know, but that's the point. You know, you create a routine that keeps your ship afloat. But with that, till the next time, shalom. Adabar, Shalom, Yahweh, Bahashim, Hamshai, Bahashim, Kakudas, Brakat.